Welcome to RulesManager Studio's How-To series. I'm Andrew Main with TRM. This demonstration will show how to reach out to a third-party resource in real time. To do this, I will use TRM's RulesManager Studio. Let's start by showing the end result of our configurations. Navigating to the asset application and creating a new asset, my application initially looks exactly like the out-of-the-box asset. Let's give a real-world example here. My CEO has decided they needed a new company car. I'm going to add this car to our fleet assets. By setting my asset type to fleet, a new section will become visible. This is the vehicle section. By clicking on the lookup for make, Maximo will reach across the web to Edmunds online data and fetch all known automobile makers. This is done on the fly to make sure we have the latest data. Let's say the CEO decided they needed a new Ford truck. Next, I will fetch all currently known models for Ford. Again, done with real-time data from Edmunds. Then, I will set the year. When my trim is done, my configurations will go one step further and configure all asset specifications for this vehicle. So now, I will select the trim and style. I am notified what specs were then created. Once my trim was set, my description was dynamically set to the year, make, model, and trim. Now, let's go over how these configurations work. I'm going to bring up my asset and my app developer perspective. I can then see all the configurations that I made for the asset application. I'm going to look at the lookup that I created for the make field. The lookup is using an ad hoc data source. A data source is what specifies where the data comes from for this lookup. I've also bound a column called name and set my dialog title. My data source needed to be defined because it's an ad hoc data source. I specified a single column called name and a script that will dynamically populate this data source whenever it's called. Let's now look at the script used to fetch data from the Edmunds site across the internet. This script uses a URL string. This string, or this URL, tells Edmunds database how to return the data. It is using what we call a REST format. Other common types of internet databases use REST or web services. In this case, we use this URL and use a getHTTP method and submit it using our HTTP object to the Edmunds site. It then returns to us a response. We get that data from the response and get it as a string. This string, being a simple JSON format string, can then be easily turned into a JavaScript object and JavaScript arrays. Therefore, we can get the maker's property from that JSON object once it's been evaled and iterate the array of makes and add them to our lookup. Thanks for watching, and see our other videos for how RulesManager Studio simplifies other complex problems.